Imagine the fear, the anxiety, the utter helplessness. Christmas Eve, 1999, Indian Airlines Flight 814 takes off, unknowingly cruising into a chilling nightmare. A day that started like any other, passengers boarding with the usual flurry of activity, families settling in, business travelers rifling through documents, vacationers buzzing with anticipation. Among them, a group of individuals, their intentions as ominous as their demeanors, boarding with a sinister purpose. The aircraft, a symbol of human achievement, becomes an unwitting accomplice in their dark plot. The engines roar to life, the wheels lift off, and the journey begins. As the plane ascends, a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Subtle at first, then unmistakable, a whisper of panic, a ripple of fear. The hijackers, previously indistinguishable from the rest, now revealing their true identities. They seize control, their actions swift and brutal, the cabin turning into a stage for their horrifying performance. As the aircraft soars, the terror unfolds. In the blink of an eye, a routine flight morphs into a chilling tale of terror. One moment, Indian Airlines Flight 814 is cruising at 33,000 feet. The next, it's a captive vessel in the hands of hijackers. A sudden shift in power, a terrifying change of course that leaves the passengers and crew in a state of raw panic and paralyzing fear. The hijackers, their identities masked by the anonymity of their actions, seize control of the plane. Their movements are swift, calculated, and ruthless, designed to induce maximum fear. Their cold, unflinching eyes scan their captive audience, the passengers and crew, who are now hostages, their lives hanging in the balance. The air inside the cabin is thick with terror, each breath taken with the uncertainty of whether it could be the last. Their demands, voiced through the intercom, reverberate through the aircraft. They demand the release of certain prisoners and a large sum of money, their voices laced with an unsettling blend of desperation and determination. The communication with the authorities commences, a nerve-wracking negotiation that becomes a twisted game of cat and mouse. The passengers, trapped in this airborne nightmare, can do nothing but hope and pray. Their world has narrowed to the confines of the hijacked plane, their futures held hostage along with them. Each passing second, each minute, each hour, amplifies their fear, their desperation. The crew, trained for emergency situations, but not for this level of horror, try to maintain calm, their professionalism battling their own fear. Outside the plane, the world watches, the media broadcasting this unfolding horror, their headlines screaming the terrifying reality. Governments scramble, the authorities negotiate, their decisions weighing heavily on them. The world holds its collective breath, waiting, watching, hoping for a peaceful resolution. The flight, initially scheduled for a few hours, now stretches into an agonizing ordeal. The hijackers' threats hang in the air, a constant reminder of the danger that lurks. As hours turn into days, the world watches with bated breath. 7 terrifying days later, the worst happens. Flight 814 crashes, claiming 190 innocent lives. As the harrowing tale unfolds, it's the morning of December 31st, 1999, a day that should have been filled with celebration and optimism for the new millennium. Instead, it was marked by heartbreak and despair. Flight 814, once a symbol of human achievement, had become a tragic monument to the senseless brutality of terrorism. The world watched in shock as news of the crash spread like wildfire. Every major news outlet, every radio station, every social media platform was filled with the horrifying images and stories of the crash. The tragedy was not confined to the borders of India. It was a global catastrophe that sent waves of grief rippling across continents. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, rescue operations swung into action. Brave men and women, undeterred by the grim task ahead, worked tirelessly to pull survivors from the wreckage. Their efforts, while heroic, were met with a sobering reality. There were few survivors. Most of the passengers on Flight 814 had perished in the crash, their dreams and hopes extinguished in an instant. Identifying the victims was a heartbreaking task. Personal belongings, photographs, letters, these were the fragments of lives cut short, silent testaments to the individuals who were more than just a number in the casualty count. Each identification brought with it a wave of grief for the families waiting in agonizing anticipation for news of their loved ones. The crash of Flight 814 was a tragedy of unimaginable proportions. It was a grim testament to the horrific power of terrorism and the devastation it could wreak. The world was left to grapple with the harsh reality of this event, a chilling reminder of the lethal potential of terrorism in aviation. A grim reminder of the lethal potential of terrorism in aviation. The wreckage of Flight 814 becomes a symbol of a world shaken, a world mourning. In the face of this monumental tragedy, the world looked on in stunned silence as the smoke and debris of the crash site painted a grim portrait of terror and loss. In the wake of this catastrophe, a comprehensive investigation was launched. Aviation experts, forensic scientists, and law enforcement agencies from around the globe converged on the scene, sifting through the wreckage, meticulously piecing together the tragic puzzle that was Flight 814. Their findings were chilling. The echoes of the hijackers' chilling threats and the passengers' desperate pleas for help were still reverberating in the black box recordings. The aftermath, however, was not confined to the crash site. It extended far beyond, into the homes and hearts of those who had lost their loved ones. Families of the victims found themselves thrust into a struggle for justice, a battle against an invisible enemy. Their grief was immeasurable, their loss incalculable. Yet they stood firm, united in their resolve to seek answers, to ensure that the souls of their lost ones found peace. In the midst of this struggle, the fate of the hijackers became a point of contention. Questions arose about their identities, their motivations, their alliances. Investigations revealed a complex web of extremism and militancy, a network of individuals driven by a distorted ideology. They were brought to justice, their actions condemned by the international community. Yet, their capture did not bring closure. Not when the echoes of their heinous act continued to reverberate in the hearts of those left behind. The echoes of this tragedy continue to reverberate, even as the world seeks answers. The wreckage of Flight 814 remains as a stark reminder of the day when the skies turned dark, a day when innocence was lost and lives were changed forever. It stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a symbol of our collective resolve to fight against terror, to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. The horror of Flight 814 was not just a tragic event, but a catalyst for change. This harrowing incident echoed around the world, sparking a revolution in aviation security. The shockwaves of this tragedy brought about a new era, an era marked by relentless efforts to ensure that such a calamity would never repeat. In the immediate aftermath, security protocols were thoroughly scrutinized and reformed globally. Airlines and airports alike began implementing more stringent measures. Baggage and passenger screenings became more rigorous, with the introduction of advanced technology like full-body scanners and explosive trace detection equipment. The aim was clear: to detect and deter threats before they could even step foot aboard an aircraft. But the changes were not just physical. There was a paradigm shift in the mindset of those responsible for our safety in the skies. There was an understanding that security is not just about hardware, but about people, about training, about constant vigilance. Consequently, there was a surge in the recruitment and training of aviation security personnel, ensuring that they were equipped with the skills and knowledge to identify and neutralize potential threats. The legacy of Flight 814 is a bitter one, a stark reminder of the loss of 190 innocent lives. Yet, it also serves as a powerful lesson. It is a lesson in resilience, in our capacity to learn from our past mistakes and strive for a safer future. It is a lesson in the power of unity, in how the world can come together to combat a common enemy. The incident has left an indelible mark on the annals of aviation history. It has shaped the way we travel, the way we perceive security, and the way we value life. It has made us more aware, more vigilant, and more determined to protect ourselves and our loved ones. Flight 814, a grim reminder of the past, but also a beacon for the future, guiding us towards a safer world of aviation. It is a testament to mankind's ability to turn tragedy into triumph, to transform fear into fortitude, and to ensure that the echoes of the past serve as the stepping stones to a safer future.